Hi, Chris here. Welcome back to episode 28 of Razing the Bar, this Let's Play of Might and Magic 6. This time we are going to go at high speed through the dungeon Corlagon's Estate. Now, between episodes, if you saw the last episode, you may remember that I missed a couple of things when we were back in New Sorpigal. I was going to sell up, and I was going to pick up the horseshoes in the respawned map. Between episodes, I went through and I did that again and sold off a lot of inventory and reorganized character inventories and stuff. In this episode, I'm going to be a little more heavy-handed with the editing. I've cut out a lot of sections. This dungeon, essentially, is a series of long corridors, first and foremost, and our strategy on all of the enemies in here, which are ghosts and skeletons, is essentially the same, which is back up, way back along the long corridor so that the things can't hit us because they only do melee damage, and just plug the things with ranged weapons, arrows and spells. So it's a fairly long dungeon, and I just wanted to cut out a lot of the repetitive sections of it. You're not going to see those. I've just cut it down to about 10 minutes of essential action, and we're also playing it at high speed. So that's about an hour's dungeon reduced to about 10 minutes. One of the things that we could have done with in here, perhaps, is the Turn Undead spell, which we haven't learned, because everything in here is undead. This is something which casts basically a fear effect on undead. Maybe it would have prevented us in some places from being surrounded. Although I did read in a FAQ on GameFAQs.com that at least in the vanilla game, the fear spells are bugged, they're broken, they don't have any useful effect. I haven't been able to verify that myself. It's just something that I read, and it's possible that Greyface's patch fixes that nevertheless, although I couldn't see anything in the patch notes about that. But no, no Turn Undead here. I left in a lot of the looting. There's a lot of useful loot that we managed to equip on certain characters here. But we're actually in here for a very specific item. Okay, what did we come here for? Well, Albert Newton in Mist, who we have already had the first promotion quest for our sorcerer from and fulfilled that, sent us in here to fetch an important magical item in order to get the second tier promotion for our sorcerer up to Archmage. Now, that item, he doesn't say or doesn't remember what it was, but what we are in here to retrieve is a magical item called the Crystal of Terax. And that ties into the story, such as it is, of this place. This is Corlagon's Estate. Is the home of Lord Corlagon, who back in Heroes 2 was one of the generals of Archibald Ironfist, one of the antagonists. And he was apparently rewarded by Archibald with this place for his service in those succession wars in Heroes 2. This place, which was previously the base of a powerful mage called Terax. He found this crystal after he moved in at some point, and began to study it and try and unlock its secrets. Now, it's a very difficult item to do that with, and he was getting old. He was running out of time. So he used the powerful magic in this item to become undead himself and effectively immortal to continue his studies of this item. So the boss in this dungeon is the reanimated, well, not reanimated because he didn't die, the leash form, the Lich form. I'm sorry, old habits die hard. I'm pretty much, I think, going to admit that I'm never going to learn how to say Lich properly. Thanks, Ollie. Yes, the boss is the undead form of Lord Corlagon. Archibald Ironfist is also in this game and plays a somewhat important role as an NPC. Later on in the game, we will see him. He attempted to usurp King Roland's throne, his brother. Okay, so we're just shuffling around a little inventory. Basically, this dungeon, for all its maze of corridors and rooms, mostly corridors, it's fairly straightforward on paper. There are 3 buttons we have to press in sequence. Each button will unlock the ability for us to progress to the next button. So the sequence is fairly obvious. We can't. There's the first one. We can't reach the first, the second button until we've pressed the first. But it involves a lot of backtracking, so this is why I edited it down quite a lot. So we do that. That gives us access to Lord Corlagon at the end of the dungeon, who will be a difficult fight. And then we will be able to find the Crystal of Tarax when we kill him. It is a fairly oversized and not all that fun dungeon, to be honest. It's not one of the best dungeons in the game. It really is a little overdone. But the reward for it is going to be absolutely fantastic. Because the second tier promotion quest... Oh, hang on, let's talk about this. So this pit here, we're supposed to jump into it. Now, I didn't know until until I came in here and basically reached an impasse as far as further progress was concerned. I had no idea that you could jump in this game, and you need to jump to get in that well. I had no idea there was a key for it, there was a function for it at all. So never let it be said that I know what I'm doing in these Let's Plays. I had to discover through being completely stuck that you can in fact jump, because in 27 previous episodes this has been there's been no actual requirement to do so. Second button. Okay, it opens up the progress to the third. Okay. Yes, doing this quest is going to be very, very useful, because it will unlock... Well, it will allow us to go back to Mist. It will get us the Archmage promotion quest, which will benefit our Sorcerer. Here's our ability to jump, suddenly discovered, like we are toddlers. The promotion to Archmage will also give us something else, because unlike all the other schools of magic, Air Magic's requirement to gain mastery in that school is only that we are Archmage. The rest have statistical requirements, most of which we are nowhere near. But if we can become Archmage, we can also become Air Magic Masters, or our Sorcerer can. Which means that all the Air Magic spells will get even more powerful. They'll reach their third tier of power, and they will gain new effects and better stats and things. So that will be our first mastery of any skill in the game, and it only comes from being in this dungeon and doing this quest. It's something that I highly recommend, if you're going to play this game, that you do at the earliest ability to beat this guy in here, Lord Corlagon, a Power Lich. So he will take a lot of punishment. You saw the length of his health bar there. And he also does a lot of ranged damage, some very heavy ranged damage. He can pretty much two-hit our characters here. But we basically threw everything that we could at Corlagon here. And even, things we don't normally use. If you're around about level 20, like our characters are, and you throw pretty much everything at this enemy, you will probably be okay. But it might be touch and go there, like it was for me. As you can see, we're taking some serious hits, having to use a lot of healing spells and potions too. But we do eventually defeat this enemy. I think it's a shame that enemies like this don't have any unique dialogue or anything. This is supposed to be a sentient creature, and one that we've combated before in a previous game. So it's a shame that the storytelling is largely just done through the dungeon entry text and the one scroll that you find here. It would be a little more interesting if they gave him a little more. There's some dialogue and some character, maybe. But they didn't do that. For the most part, the story here is fairly implicit. Okay, he's nearly down. Just a couple of good hits. There he goes. Okay, so a little gold and one chest in his fairly unfurnished chamber here. A ring of might, that's quite nice. Some nice gauntlets and the crystal of Tarax, which we will take back to, what's his name, Albert Newton in Mist. It looks a fairly unassuming item there, but that is what he's after. So we'll just skip back now to Castle Iron Fist. We can train a couple of levels for all our characters. And in the next episode, we will hop on the boat to Mist. See you next time. Thanks for watching.